Hello colleagues, and welcome to Week 1, Unit 6 of SAP Cloud Platform Version Control with Git. In this brief unit, you will learn about stashing, what it is, and how to use it. The easiest way to describe the stash is to think of a common scenario when you might want to use it. Imagine you've spent the past hour developing a tricky feature and you've made a lot of progress. However, you still have an hour or so to go before you'll be ready to make a new version. Suddenly you get news of an extremely urgent hotfix on a different branch that you need to make. You need to abandon your work right now, but you don't want to delete your work. At the same time, you want to save your work, but you aren't ready to commit it. So how can you abandon your coding progress while saving it at the same time? That's the kind of scenario the stash was designed for. From the last unit, you know about staging and committing your changes. But there's another state off to the side called the stash. Each Git repository in your web ID has its own independent stash. Each repository has its own stash. So when you have some changes and you haven't staged them yet, you can click the stash button in order to move those changes over to the stash. This captures the stash changes so that you can get back to them later and removes them so that your working area is clean. Actually, I said that you do this before you stage them, but in fact, stashing in Web IDE wipes all changes from your Git work area, both staged and unstaged, and stores them off to the side. As long as the changes aren't in stored files, stashing will remove them. But those changes are hidden away in the stash, so you can always get back to them later if you need to. Let's do a really quick walkthrough of the stash together so that you know how to use it. So here we are back with our index.html file. And let's change the color of this header here to blue. So within the h1 tag, I'm going to type style equals, do I do a space there? I think I do. Color, colon, blue. Let's test it, make sure that that's correct. But now say, okay, there it is, it's nice and blue. Now let's say we're not ready to commit that. So let's just stash it. So see, here's this button here, stash. I'm going to hit stash. This command stores away all your current uncommitted changes and reverts them from your working directory. So you can just use the default description, which gives a time, but instead I'll say changed first header to blue color. And I will, because that's more descriptive of what I was doing. Stashes have been created. Look, my changes are gone. Now let's go to this README file and let's add a link. Instead of main demo repository for Git Web IDE demos, let's do main repository for OpenSAP. We'll put a link in there. So I'd put that in brackets, OpenSAP's in brackets, then HTTP, open parenthesis, http://opensap.com, end parenthesis, Git Web IDE demos. That's perfect. Now let's go ahead and stash again. This time I'll stage them, just to show that you can do it either way. And then I'm going to click stash. And I'll say added link to README file. Boom, it took them away. So whether or not I staged them, they went to the stash. Now let's go now to this button, apply stash. Let's say we're ready now to get back our changes and say continue on them. That's what you'd normally do. Now there's three options here. First of all, you can pick either of your stash changes, or if you had several, you could go to anywhere in this list. And let's go to the first one, this changed first header to blue color. You can apply it, which reapplies it to the stash but keeps it in the stash list. You can pop it, which reapplies it and deletes it from the stash list. And you can drop it, which just means delete it. So let's do apply, which won't delete it. And we got our color blue back. And let's just say, let's go ahead and add a commit here. Added blue color to first header. real simple HTML. We have a new commit now if we were to go into Git history pane, but we won't. And then let's apply stash again. Notice that both stash changes are there. Let's go to this one because we already used it and delete it. Okay, so it's gone. And now let's go to the readme.md file. And now we wouldn't have to open that file, but I'm just doing so that we can see what's happening. And this time let's pop it, which is going to reapply it and remove it from the stash list. There's our link. Added OpenSAP link. It staged it for us because it was staged before to readme file, and I will commit that. And because I popped that, it automatically deleted it. Now look, apply stash is grayed out because the stash is empty, so I can't do anything. So now you know how to use the stash. I invite you to join me in the next unit, where you will learn about the most foundational topic of Git and one of the most commonly misunderstood. So join me to learn about branches.